In 2 days, we're going to Egypt. And afterwards, we're going to Greece, all 2 hours, 2.5 hours away. I don't think you can say that here in Australia, right? Firas Jetsu. People at work call me Ross sometimes. Now it's more Firas. I'm married. I have one teenage son who just turned 15 here in the homeland. My wife is also Assyrian. She left when she was 2 years old. I moved 42 years ago. I left my homeland 42 years ago. And this has been a 20-year journey. Subconsciously, I've been moving here. My mind has always been here since 2004. And I finally made the move in 2024 with my wife and son. After a few trips, we saw how it's like. And I asked my wife and son if they're willing to take to make the move and come back, and they said, let's do it. Of course, my son, this is a new experience for him. He was born in California. When I left Iraq, I went to Canada. I grew up mostly in Canada. I finished my studies there, then I moved to the US, got married, and we've been there for many years, and recently moved here. So my son was born in California, so to him this is a big transition, leaving his friends and coming here. That was my biggest concern, to be honest. But overall, we're happy. We like it. There's obviously highlights and lowlights and everything, and it's to be expected. But overall, we're glad we made the move, and we're taking it one day at a time. As you know, many left over the years and really didn't think of coming back. The country was run by a dictator. And at the time, everyone was hopeful that it was quote-unquote liberated. And we had high hopes that this is an opportunity for us to come back and rebuild our homes and villages. I've been actively involved with the Assyrians in the diaspora since I was a teenager in Canada and the UK and in the US. And when that happened, we felt, okay, now the country's free. We can go back and see our homeland. Finally. So 2004 was my first trip back to Atra, to our homeland, to Assyria. And it was exciting. It was just something that I dreamt of, but I didn't think it would ever be possible. And finally it happened. Spent a lot of time in our villages in the Nineveh Plains. When I came back in 2004, we decided, myself and a few friends of ours, to start a company. We started a company called Atra Corporation. And what we did is in these villages where we have critical mass, yet some have come in, and whether the previous regime has awarded them with lands that are not from there, that have impacted the demographics, but we're putting those lands for sale, we decide to buy them and rebuild them, whether we build homes, farms, a small tile factory, and it was a combination of a few Assyrians in the diaspora that we did this. Last year is when we started coming in with my wife and son. My wife hasn't been here since she was 3 years old. She doesn't know the language, so that would be a big transition for her, and certainly for my son. They enjoyed it immensely. First, there's this concept that folks in diaspora think it's, war-torn country, it's hard to get around. And they realize there's an airport 10 minutes away, all the amenities are available, all friends and family around, and that you could, the social life and the work-life balance is very different. So this was very important, obviously, to have a family life and work-life balance. And I was very lucky that I had an opportunity to work nearby. So in the Gulf countries, there was a job that's similar to what I was doing. I was an executive in a publicly traded company, multi-billion, $30 billion market cap company in the semiconductor industry. And some of the Gulf countries want to also expand their industry and diversify their industry in this space. And they asked me to join and lead the business unit. So I decided to do it. But one of the reasons, one of the big incentives is the proximity. Now I can, within a few hours, go to work if I need to be there in person and work some of it from home. So it was a perfect way to be in our homeland and still have a job. You know, anything you can imagine is available here, including it's our homeland. This is our land. We're sitting right now on the land that our ancestors and forefathers lived here. They were here. They built the civilization that we're all inheritors of. Us and our neighbors, the Kurds, the Arabs, the Persians, and the Turks inherited that civilization. And it gives me a great sense of warmth to know that I'm here on my ancestors' land. Did you see, this is he's in a Christmas spirit too. This is the god Ashur of ancient times, but today he has a Christmas. In our language, it's the bow of our Lord, because in ancient religion and culture, bad spirits come to attack earth, and this god Ashur would go and repel him, push him away from earth, and protects us. And usually after rain means there's thunder and lightning, and then the god Ashur saves earth, and then when he wins, you see his bow and say, there's the bow of our Lord. That's rainbow. So that's him, that's the guy. Those that are not accustomed to driving here realize you're in for a shock. One of the measures of freedom is, in everything. One of them is driving. The driving laws here are they're much more open. Where to park, what speed to go, when do you make a U-turn, when do you stop and turn around. So those have been quite frustrating. And initially, to be honest, my wife's like, I cannot drive here. We even considered, do we get a driver? But she's warming up to it. And now she's driving my son to school at times and going back and picking him up. There are things that are, you come from the US or Europe or Australia, you have rights and you can demand them. Here, the system is still in its infancies. Democracy, it's questionable here. Getting paperwork done, getting registered as a citizen that's living here, residency card, the number of signatures you have to get, numbers of approvals you have to get to do it. At times it challenged me. That's not for us. Going to this building, get 5 signatures, go to that building, come back. It felt like the ball in a pinball machine at times. But I was committed. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to learn the system here. Let's see how many government buildings I'm going to go into. But finally, I got it. So, and that's the same thing, the central government or the region here as well. They both have their challenges. Now, I chalk it up to it's a system in transition. It's growing. It's getting better. That's one thing. The other thing, we are a small minority now. Unfortunately, our numbers have been decimated. And something needs to be done by the government here to stop the bleeding, really. They need to treat the natives of this land, whether it's us, whether it's the Assyrians, and when I say Assyrians, I mean whatever denomination, what church you prefer to go to on Sunday, that's your choice. But also the Yazidis. Something needs to be done for and Shabaks and others that need to be done to make sure that they have a future here. Tatianos was the first guy that put a Bible together, first century. Wow. People don't realize he was from here. He put the first Bible that was used in Rome and in Greece. And it was started by a guy from here, first century, Tatian. That's my son's name. Venture, a partnership in a small farm, cattle farm, some project, building a school that you can be part of. Become part of your nation. You pay taxes in the US. So significant amount of your income goes to taxes. This is actually paying you back. You'll feel so much better about doing something about it by being here, participating. And look, if you can make the bigger move, not just having a base, a temporary base, but a permanent one, if you can afford it and you have the income to do it, it's a great work-life balance. The social life is fantastic. Now, look, there is risk. It's an investment. It's a life investment. There is risk associated with it. Just like any investment you do, there's risk here. At the end of the day, this country is susceptible. There's Iran on one side, there's Syria with all the new changes, and Lebanon and Turkey and God knows what. There is risk. But if there's one place that you can make a difference and you have that risk mitigation, the airport is nearby, there's transportation, it's, you're not isolated here. In fact, I would argue that you're more connected here than many places in the world. In 2 days, we're going to Egypt. And afterwards, we're going to Greece, all 2 hours, 2.5 hours away. I don't think you can say that here in Australia, right? Returnee is a fantastic idea. It's a great group of people. It adds a whole dimension to our life here. We get together, we talk about things that I'm having a hard time with this. What do you guys do? And this is how we did it. Where do you think is a good area to build a new home? And it's just, you feel a closer tie to them than the rest of your friends and family network because they've experienced similar things that you've experienced. And now everyone brings their own unique experience. Coming here with my wife and my son, while someone is more young, coming here with a job. Fantastic to interact and talk about it and how you're seeing, what are the issues you're finding, and learn from each other and frankly enjoy our lives. Going out, eating, drinking, dancing. Almost every day we get some text from some returnee saying, hey, I'm at this cafe, why don't you come and meet me there? There's always something going on, so it's really nice to have that. I'm glad that whoever founded this great organization did it. It's by an artist from New York, a Syrian guy named Nino Shamo. And this is really Gilgamesh and Enkidu. So the way you know it's Enkidu, he has a horn, he's got a beard because he's more with the animals and he was more not as civilized as Gilgamesh. And they're feet of a bird. And also if you turn it, see, because they're eagles. See, his hair is here, the wing. So it's the hair of Gilgamesh, but here it's the wing. And in Mesopotamian culture, you're part god, part human. Is like Gilgamesh was part god, part human. Is you're superhuman. But the way you know who they are, the body of the bird. So this is the body of the bird. You can tell it's in Assyrian. There's a Gamal, Lamat, Gamal, Mim, Shin, Gel, Ga, Mesh. And this bird, his name is in there. Alap, in Strangeli, and Kidu. It's written here. So the body of the bird is their name. This will be my permanent home. I may, my son is 15. When he finishes high school, he may decide to go to university in the US or somewhere else. Fine, you can go, but when we come back, it's here. So I envision whatever happens here, if it's 45 million people, if that number drops to one person, it'll be me. That's my plan.